All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alvin Adjei. I am the immediate past president for the Houston Young Lawyers Association. I'm just stepping in for George and Edward with the Solo and Small Firms Committee. We're so happy to have you today, and we're so happy to have our guest, Erica Garza.
Everybody.
So she is fantastic. And just to introduce you to her, she has a demonstrated history of working in the marketing and advertising industry. She's skilled in digital strategy, search engine optimization, SEO. Many of the small firms and solos know about SEO and trying to optimize that. Web design, social media advertising, and consulting. Mrs. Garza is the owner and creator of Round Two Media Group. She has been in the branding, advertising, and production space for over 20 years, though she doesn't look it. An entrepreneur at heart, she saw a need in the marketing for a hands-on approach to advertising and consulting. Round Two gets its name from her love of the sport of boxing and her grandfather, the boxer, who she never met, Mr. Garza. And a funny quote, she says, "You may get me in round one, but round two is all mine." She fights for her client's success with the same passion. And with that, I will give it away to Ms. Garza.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. I know you're out there and I can't see you, but thank you. Thank you, Alvin, for the great introduction. Yes, I have been in the space of advertising and marketing and branding for the past 20 years. I've had Round Two now for about 6 years, and I absolutely love it. And what I'm going to do today is take you guys through as if you were a potential client and in need of branding, marketing, or advertising in the digital space. So where I would like to start is the branding side of things. So any business that's getting started, it's really important to understand who are you and how are you going to express that to potential clients. So in choosing a font for your logo, in choosing a logo, and choosing the colors that you want to use, and then choosing a messaging. Because a lot of people sometimes when they start a business, they assume that the clientele will know, and they don't. They are leaning on you to guide them through who you are and what you offer them. At the start of things is the website. And I like to give the analogy of a car. So pick your favorite car, and the outside of that car would be the website. It's what you see, right? It's what the clients are going to see. And the aesthetics of that are really, really important. So I'm going to kind of show you an example and take you through some different examples. I'm pulling up just Leo and Eugenie. They're personal injury lawyers. But when you're talking to somebody about creating your site, or whether you're doing it on your own, because that's a possibility too now, if you're trying to be a little bit more economical, it's really important to build it out for conversion. Because when you're either giving a business card, or it's a referral, or it's a digital ad, the number one thing they do is go to your website, right? So they're trying to find out if you're a right fit, if they want a consultation from you, your phone number, your email address, maybe a chat feature. All of those things are super important above the fold. And above the fold would be anything like this would be above the fold for a cell phone, or if somebody's on a desktop or a tablet. You want those things to be right there because you're trying to get the conversion. You want them to contact you. Okay. I'm going to show you another example of a site. So this is criminal defense. Again, same thing. You want your social media above the fold. You want an easy way for them to contact you without having to work so hard. And these types of websites can go anywhere. You can create something on Wix or Squarespace if you want to, or even a landing page. You don't have to have a full-on blown website to drive traffic to it. So if you're trying to work on a budget, you can do anything from like maybe a one-time fee of $1,500 all the way up to an actual WordPress site with 20, 40 pages on it if need be. And those run anywhere from 5,000 to 8,000. And e-commerce is around 12,000 on average. If you plan on growing the business and not maybe just, staying a solo with one or two lawyers, I suggest going for the larger website instead of having to go through 3 different designs to get ultimately to what you want. it can be more expensive to do it that way. So I kind of would guide my clients to say, hey, listen, save up a little bit, maybe just do a tiny landing page that you do on your own, save up a little bit and actually get the WordPress done. So you don't have to continue to go through the redesign. But so going back to the car analogy, the website is the outside of the car, but obviously we need to make it go. How are people going to find you? And a huge misconception is, hey, put up a website, I'm going to be seen. Completely not true. If you have a website and you don't have any of the engine in it or anything driving traffic to it, it's going to pretty much do zero. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through, and I'm going to actually start with lead generation. Completely different from advertising. Lead generation is when somebody is searching for you. They need your service. They're searching for criminal. They're searching for workman's comp. They've slipped and fall. They are searching for your services. And now how are you going to be found? Okay. Very different from advertising. And the way that Google does this is 3 different ways. Okay. And we've got to keep in mind that Google is a business. So anybody that's on page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even, they're paying to either an in-house person to do it and or a company like Round 2. Okay, so these are the 3 different sections of Google. So the first one that we have, which I like to say is like a digital billboard, is paid search. Another name for it is Google AdWords. Another name for it is pay-per-click. And another name for it is search engine marketing. Why they did that, I have no idea, but all of those things are the exact same. And so what happens is somebody is Googling around, they're looking for a lawyer, they're looking for your types of services, and the ads pop up at the very top on the first page, okay? The way that this works is by keywords. So somebody's typing in a keyword, Google assigns a value to that keyword. It could be anywhere from 35 cents to $350 for that keyword, okay, depending on your vertical. You assign a budget based on your strategy and your goal. You assign a geo. So is it all of Houston? Is it just Katy? Is it just Pasadena? Do you want all of Texas? And from that budget, let's say it's $2,000 a month or $1,000 a month. When somebody actually clicks on your ad, it deducts the money from that budget. So you will never go over in this section once you assign a budget to it. But it also depends on how much market share do you want and how competitive is your industry. Normally with lawyers, from what I've seen, it's pretty competitive. So if you're a smaller firm and you're just starting out, you may want to tighten your geo if you want to play in this space so that you're not competing with all of Houston. Another thing that I like about this particular section of Google is it is also a branding play. If you are coming up, but maybe not being clicked on, it doesn't cost you anything, but they're starting to see your name, right? They're starting to see your messaging. Okay, so that's pay-per-click. The next section is called local SEO. Has nothing to do with organic SEO, which is the other section. I don't know why they named them the same. It's confusing, but they do not have anything to do with each other. I like to call it the map section or the Google My Business section. You can do this whether you have a home office and you're just starting out and you don't even have an office yet for your firm. You can create it and you don't have to put an address in it, but Google wants it. So it's basically a page set up. It's called Google My Business. So Google wants you to register your business with them. And eventually when you do get a brick and mortar, you can add your address to it. But they want to know what is your service area. So you can just put in Houston or Pasadena or Katy or Sugar Land and so forth. They're also looking for your listings here. So there's listings across all the internet. So they want to make sure that your Facebook listing, your Instagram listing, your Google listing are all correct across all platforms. They will reward you for that. And I'll go into that a little bit later. But this is a very important section. If you do have a brick and mortar, this is extremely important because this is how people can find and hit directions. As you can see on the screen, they can get to your website here, directions, and there's actually another feature now where you can call somebody from this section. And so you will be able to see how many people are actually looking for directions to get to you. This particular section, the reason that Google created it is for foot traffic. So if you want to start to dominate in your backyard and grow out, this section is extremely important. It is free to create. So I would absolutely take advantage of that. You don't have to pay somebody to do it. If you want to start optimizing and getting a little bit more robust with it, then you would come to a company like mine. But this is a very cost effective. The cost for this to maintain monthly is anywhere from $250 to about $650 a month. But it's very much worth it. You can also post on it as well. Okay, the next section after that, this is the engine of the car. Have to have this. It is a painstakingly slow process. However, this is where 65 to 70% of people click on Google. They will bypass the paid search, the local map, and come here. Not everybody and not for everything, but the majority of the time. This is about your website. This is about gaining trust. This is Google deeming whether your business is relevant, whether you're nurturing your business through your website, caring about it, updating the information, making sure that you have images and videos and so on and so forth. The way that this works is every 3 to 5 minutes, Google sends out what we call spiders, and they crawl the back of the website to deem, is your business relevant to the search that is being searched on Google? If so, then Google wants to serve that up to the consumer. That's the business that they're in. If I'm clicking for a criminal defense lawyer, or I got a DUI, God forbid, and they serve me up Pizza Hut, I'm not coming back to Google. So this section is a necessary evil, but if you hang in there, and I know I've worked with a lot of lawyers. Some of you don't have patience, but this section requires patience. It takes a while, but it's important not to quit before the magic happens. And that doesn't really matter who you go with. It's just the nature of the beast of this particular lead generation tool on Google. Okay, are there any questions? Or I don't see a chat, so I don't know if anybody wants to chime in. I'm going to go to the next section. Okay, so the next section would be branding and advertising. And I spoke a little bit about the brand, developing your logo, colors, what you stand for, maybe a tagline or a slogan. And that would handle the branding side. But okay, I saw one chat. I'm new to this. Okay, got it. That's one side of the branding. I'm going to take you to the other side. And some of the advertising also. Sorry, guys, I don't know why this isn't. Hold on one second. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to start with display. I'm sure we've all seen these things. Sometimes they're annoying. Sometimes they're amazing because they're based on what you've been looking at on the internet. But they're called display ads. I use GIFs. So basically you would provide a picture, maybe it's of you, maybe it's of the firm, maybe it's of a car wreck, just if you're personal injury, that's what you're going for. And a team like mine would turn that into a GIF with the types of messaging and a call to action. This is a really cool product to layer on top of a pay-per-click campaign. They go really, really well together. It's also very cost effective. They're impression based. So if you want to do, 100,000 impressions, it's anywhere from like $4 to $6 per 1,000 impressions. And the way it works is any ad supported app or any ad supported website is where these ads will potentially show, but we are trying to target based on your strategy. So it could be, again, zip codes. It could be men and women between the age of 18 and 55 that live here, that have a household income of X. We want to make sure that we target correctly. And you can see on the screen different targeting options. So demographic, behavioral, content targeting. So we can put in keywords if you want to come up when somebody's reading about something on a law website, let's say, geo. And then we have frequency and day parting. I'm not going to go into all that. It's very nerdy and techy. But this, again, is a great product to layer on top of a pay-per-click campaign. And it is also very economical. It's a good way to start. And it's a support of lead generation. And so the point would be somebody's reading an article, they see this ad, they're like, oh, hey, click. And then it goes to either a landing page or the page of your desire on your website, which is why it's so important to make sure that that website is built out for conversion. Okay, I see a chat. I'm just going to click on this real quick. I'm going to go ahead and read it then. I have a free profile on Google. I ask prospects how they found us. Often they say Google. How would you suggest digging deeper to find whether it's Google Ads profile versus generic Google search that may have found me on Avo or somewhere else? Okay, good way to do that is website. If they get to your website on a form fill, I would create a question that says, how did you find us? And then list those things and see if they'll get granular that way. Sometimes people do answer that. So that's one way. If you have somebody answering your phone, they can also dig a little deeper and ask, like the receptionist can dig and maybe just have her a little list on the side of which ones you really want to know. And I think some lawyers can do this, recording calls and asking, or call tracking numbers also work really well for that. Let's see, thoughts on using our first and last name.com to increase organic SEO, hoping over the course of the year it comes up first. Great question. So SEO does carry in the domain. The domain is www.erica.com or round2.com. So that's a very, very good point. When you buy the domain, whether it's name-based or a firm or a quirky one like igotHitGirl.com, keep it, because the SEO, if you start doing SEO to that domain, it stays there. So if you buy a different domain, you're going to be starting all over from scratch. The name, it's pretty interesting. It used to be everybody wanted their name and their name and their name. This was probably about 10 years ago. Now it's kind of the shorter, like, www.seo is a lot easier than doing www search engine optimization. So it could be initials, it could be all the way out, igotHitGirl.com. It really doesn't matter at this point as much as it used to back in the day, but that's a really, really good question. However, if you buy the domain, keep it. Even if you point other domains to it, keep that original one, especially if you're paying somebody in-house or out-house to do SEO. Okay, two good questions. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one. I don't know why it's not letting me here. Okay, I am going to get to social media. Okay, so very, very important to keep in mind. There is a huge difference between social media management and social media advertising. Social media management is somebody that is managing your page to your audience that likes you and that follows you. They already know who you are and they've already engaged. Okay, so those are posts, if you will, on your page with the hashtags and so on and so forth. Social media advertising is to people that do not know you within our certain targeting capabilities. Okay, we're trying to get eyeballs onto your brand or service. Two completely different strategies, two completely different things. It's also extremely important to keep in mind that Facebook, now they're called Meta, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, Twitter, and so on, TikTok, they're a business. They're here to make money. So back in the day when Facebook first started, we kind of all were like, oh, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to put my business here and I'm going to get people to share it and share it and share it and share it. They have really cracked down on that. They have taken those algorithms away and they are now wanting to monetize everything. So even, it's fine to boost a post, especially if you're on a budget, but it's important to maybe get somebody that knows how, maybe a friend or somebody in your office knows how to really, really target and boost and to boost a post. But if you're boosting a post and you're trying to get, all of these cases, that is not how this is going to work. You would really have, I would suggest turning it over to actually the advertising part of that. About 6 to 8 years ago, you used to have to go to each one if you chose to go the advertising route, whether it was a static image or a video. I'm sure we've all seen them while we're scrolling, and buy impressions, and they were expensive. Now, our companies like mine are able to do it on a budget based, which is excellent for you guys. What do I mean by that? That means, so for example, my ad mix product includes Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, YouTube advertising, and display, the one that I showed you before, all set for one price. So we would set a budget. All 4 of those platforms are always covered, right? But the algorithm is looking at what the consumer is engaging with most. So you get the most bang for your buck here, okay? Meaning if 1 month the Instagram ads are killing it and engagement is high on Instagram, we're gonna shift budget toward Instagram, even though all 4 are still covered. The next month, YouTube is killing it, we shift budget there. So finally, they came up with a more economical way for business owners to be able to reach on these different platforms. Okay, it's extremely important to understand if you have a certain amount of budget that you're starting for and you want your phone to ring, this is not the play. This is not where I would start in the funnel of things. So the first slide that I showed you is where I would start, right? Because you're wanting actual phone calls, and that means somebody's actually looking for your services. Here, we start to get into the frequency. We start to get into the branding side of it. So now they are seeing you on Google, right? Now they're seeing you on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and so on and so forth. And really, advertising is frequency, consistency, strategy, content. Frequency, consistency. I mean, we all know the Nike swoosh. It's not rocket science. It's consistency and repetitiveness and frequency whenever you're doing a social media play or a YouTube play, something like that. I'm going to put a little note in here too that another thing that's free to create is a YouTube channel. And Google loves this because they own YouTube and it is the second largest search engine behind Google. Okay. And when I say rewarding, what I mean is Google assigns each website or business, if you will, a quality score. So they want you to be checking all the boxes that they want you to do. So one of them would be creating a Google My Business page. One of them would be creating a YouTube page. And the way that they reward you for that is, let's say you start a pay-per-click campaign with them, right? Through a company like mine or on your own. Your cost per click might be less because you're doing all of those things than your competitor down the street. So it's a really nice perk. And again, Google My Business is free to create. YouTube channel is free to create. It's free to put up content there. My clients that are in, that have law firms, small, medium, large, it's really important to fill that with content. And that's a super easy way to do. You just order the little light and tripod from Amazon, put your iPhone or your Android there on cinematic, and just educate your clients. You know, act like somebody's asking you a question. 15-second, 30-second, does not have to be long. Throw it up there. Okay. Another, that's a very easy way that's not going to cost you much to get done. Okay. The other thing I wanted, a couple of other things I want to talk to you about social media and kind of going out from there is there's a lot of video centric options that are also cost effective. And those are all the things. So let's say you're on, you know, a news website, whether it's cron.com or Click2, you're reading about, you know, the Texans game or something else, Astros winning, click, and it forces you to watch a commercial. Some you can skip, some you can't. Though that's going to fall on this slide. So that's programmatic pre-roll, full episode player, and connected TV. We also have streaming TV. So there's a lot of video options now on ad support. I mean, excuse me, on video supported apps and on streaming TV. So meaning the big screen, actually every single size of screen, right? We all have apps. So sometimes, you know, guilty pleasure, I'm watching The Housewives. I'm at the dentist office. I have my pods on. And I have to watch a commercial for somebody in the space that is trying to target me, okay? And again, that all falls under putting a budget to it instead of having to buy impressions everywhere, okay? Let's see. These are some options for that local SEO that I was telling you about that is a cost effective, you know, $250 all the way up to $650. And it just kind of takes you through the different things that can happen aside from you just creating the page, which is still great. Okay. When you are creating a Google My Business page, to make sure that the primary business category is literally as close as you can possibly get to your primary business category that they allow, because it's a list. And then you can do a second and a third, but make sure that primary one is as close as you can get. Somebody was asking me about the domain name too. When you are creating a name for the law firm, let's say you're at that stage, right? Like I have a company called TM Hair. They're a hair restoration place, but I'm encouraging them to rebrand. You can always rebrand to name it TM Hair Restoration, because when you create a Google My Business page, you put TM Hair, it could be TM Hair Extensions, TM Hair Salon. Google doesn't understand that. So if you can actually put what you do in the name, personal injury, criminal defense, so on and so forth, that's really also beneficial. Even if it's not your exact name, it's okay. If your name's in there with what you do, it's worth it when you're creating a Google My Business page. Okay, so I'm going to take you through another really, really cool, kind of creepy a tool that you can use. I'm sure, I don't know if everybody's heard of geofencing, but in short, geofencing is we are able, teams like mine are able to put an invisible fence around a building and extract all the cell phones that have been in there via their IP addresses, and then serve them up advertising through ad-supported apps and ad-supported websites. Okay. This takes it a little further, which is really cool. So let's say that you are a personal injury lawyer and you want to target people that have been hurt in the airport or hurt on a flight, right? We could geofence both airports, and then all of the ERs and signature cares and anywhere that somebody might go that's hurt after the next day, two or 3 days, or even sometimes an injury takes a week to develop, right? And then we will serve them up ads via their either cell phone or whatever websites they're going to, ad-supported sites. And then if they click on it and they actually turn into either a consultation for you or a lead for you, and that cell phone walks into your office, my reporting is able to show you, hi, Mr. Law Firm, that particular person, we serve them up at Signature Southwest Houston, and now we see that their cell phone has physically walked into your location. It's never been in your location before. I can't give you the name, I can't give you the cell phone number, but it's as close to an ROI as you can get, because all you have to do is close them, right? This works really well with a brick and mortar. But if you don't have a brick and mortar, it still works really well because it's as targeted as we can possibly get. Let's say that you want to do a big branding play, you're rolling in the money, you want a big case, and now you want to grow. We could do a geofence around everybody that was at the Houston Texans game, everybody that was at the rodeo on Tejano night. It's really, really a cool product, and it's based on impressions. So you buy impressions, and those impressions will run through the month. So this is called Device ID, and it is absolutely amazing whether you have a brick and mortar or you don't. Okay. All right. Take you through really another cool product. Used to be that a lot of small to medium-sized businesses could not get on television because it was so expensive to try to get a commercial done, whether it was through the news and or through a sitcom or never mind football, right? It was astronomical, $25,000, $35,000, $40,000 in this market just to get one commercial 30-second spot. Streaming TV has changed the game. So Hulu, Xbox, Netflix is going to start doing ads now, YouTube TV, Fubo, all of the streaming services that offer up commercial space, it is now completely affordable. It's also impression based. You can do a 30-second spot and buy the impressions, and then you're going to be able to see how many people viewed it and how many people clicked on it. I'm sure you're seeing people now doing those QR codes. So people are literally like on their phone watching TV. I've cut all the cords in my home and office, And so I'm doing this all the time, and I see that QR code and I am using it. Okay, so this is another really, really cool thing that you can do once you get to that space. Again, branding. And it's layering on. I would never suggest starting here. Okay. But it's another great layer on, like once you've started and you're getting to where you want to get, and you want to grow, you want to scale. Okay. Couple other things I wanted to discuss with you guys is some guerrilla marketing that you can do that's doesn't cost as much as maybe something like this, getting into this game. Okay. Promotional items are a great way to get the word out. But if you are going to do promotional items, make sure it's something that people are going to use. A lot of people don't use keychains anymore. Make it a mug, a pen, a promotional t-shirt. Make it something that people are going to actually use out and about, and not just, end up tossing it. Okay. A lot of people make the mistakes of getting stuff that people are just never going to use. And that's just a waste of money. That's not a way to go. Another way would be any kind of community outreach, getting into the community and sponsoring Little League, sponsoring, anything that they're going to put your logo on, that's, economical. That's cool too, because people are, working out at the gym and they start seeing it. And again, it's just brand recognition, the logo being out there, your slogan being out there, and slowly but surely growing. You don't have to have a ton of money to start that. There are economical ways to do it, but it is important to develop a relationship or a partnership with somebody that's in the digital space, that can grow with you, that's going to guide you, and that will not take your money if you can't play. In other words, I'll give you an example. If I'm talking to a firm and they're telling me that they have, $3,000 to $5,000 to play in pay-per-click, and they want all of Houston and they want to go after 18-wheelers, I'm not taking their money. It wouldn't be worth it for me. It's not going to be worth it for them. It's not going to move the needle, right? It is a uber highly competitive space. And so it would literally just be a waste, right? So I would show them and say, hey, listen, in that space, literally to max out the market for a pay-per-click, there's about 147,000 a month available, and your 2, 3, 5,000 is less than 1% of that market share. So let's start somewhere else. Okay, so it's important that you develop with a company like mine, or even a friend or anybody that's guiding you on digital, that it makes sense, right? Okay, I think I have one more question. Let's see. So for probate, you could geofence funeral homes, for example. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Office buildings for slip and falls, oil rigs, and stuff like that. I had a client that geofenced, I'm sure you guys remember the big Astroworld catastrophe. After the fact, we geofenced where Astroworld took place, the concert for Travis Scott, and built some ads around that, and they got several cases from that geofencing, which is considered DID, which is what I showed you. Okay. All right. Let me just see if I had anything else open here. I kind of wanted to show you in real life what Google looks like. Also, they changed. So I don't know if anybody's noticed, but when you start Googling around on a cell phone now, it just continues to go and go and go and go and go and go, instead of going, okay, there's 12 spots on page 1, and then we're going to take you to page 2. They've changed that. And again, also too, very important, they're constantly changing stuff, guys. So even though you can kind of get started on your own, when you're ready to kind of scale or go up, it's important to either hire somebody that really knows what they're doing, or that you can get in contact with, or go to a company like mine. Okay. Because there's a lot of changes going on. This is very new here with these photos. And again, there's a form that you can fill out if you're doing this type of advertising, to make sure that the photo actually appears, versus these people down here do not have that on. So this is all the pay-per-click section. based on this particular keyword. Whoa. Ay. Sorry, guys. All right. And then this would be the local SEO section, map section. This is called the stack right here, the top 3. And then if you hit this, it's going to go down to more, and then it will show on the map section. In the reporting, when you create a Google My Business page at no cost to you, you will be able to see reporting on this as well at no cost. Let me see, I've got a couple questions here. How do you handle different attorneys hiring you? Do you reject clients if you represent another attorney that does not same area of law? Yes, great question. So I would have to, me personally, I weigh out who is where and what is the specialty. I'm not going to run into a problem if I have got a personal injury that just wants dog bites, wrongful death, and so, and another one wants the big whales, airplane flights, and so. So I make sure that we're not bumping into each other. It won't be an issue. Also, like, some people are in Fort Bend. Some people want to dominate just Harris County. Some people want to dominate just the Woodlands. All of that matters as well. But it would never behoove me or another company like mine, hopefully, to take on 2 competitors that are doing the exact same thing, because they're going to run into each other and I'm going to eat up budget both ways. It's just, it won't be a win for me or any company like mine. They shouldn't do that, because you're not in it for longevity, right? And the whole point is not to just do a 90-day campaign or a 6-month campaign and be one and done and out. The whole point of this is to get ROI, right, for you guys, and to be a partner with you guys also. I will say this too, and I say this in my meetings with potential clients, is I guarantee absolutely nothing. If anybody walks in and guarantees you anything, I would run. There are no guarantees. The only thing that companies like mine can guarantee is we're going to put your businesses and services in front of the people that are looking for them. We are going to do branding and advertising, but I cannot control what the consumer is going to do. Okay. It's important. Strategy is important. Content is important. Creativity is important. That's what's going to move the needle. But if somebody comes in and says, I'm going to have you on the first page of Google in 2 weeks, and I'm going to it just doesn't simply work that way, unless it's pay-per-click, right? And you turn on that and it's going to go. But I think it's really important to ask those questions and pair with somebody that you trust, get referrals. Because I know there's a lot of people that unfortunately have been burned out there. Also, I don't know. Okay, we have a little bit of time. I do want to say this too. Traditional media. There's a lot of traditional media companies that now have a digital department. Okay. What happened with the billboards, newspapers, TV, and radio is they were behind the 8 ball when it came to the internet. They didn't understand it. They thought it was going to be a fluke, and they thought it was not going to be able to compete with what they were doing. And they were wrong. So a lot of these guys had to diversify because they were losing dollars to Google, to the internet. So they came up with these digital departments. But it's important to vet them, right? Because in my experience, they've been a little bit behind the times in catching up because it wasn't their original forte. So just keep that in mind too when you start interviewing companies like this. Once you get to that point, or a lot of people will start cold calling too. They're going to see that you're new. They're going to see you created a Google My Business page, and they're going to start calling. I know that's the way I used to do it when I was working for one of those companies. So that's important to keep in mind. Okay, let's get back here. All right, and this is the good old SEO section right here. So this is where everybody is clicking. All of this kind of copy right here is super important too. When people are reading ads, I mean, you kind of think about like when you guys are looking for something, what strikes you, where are you clicking, what are you reading, what's important to you, what's your call to action, how are you differentiating yourself from somebody else, and so on and so forth. Let's see if I had anything else open here. I don't think I did. Reviews are great. Also, that will go a long way. Google loves reviews. So if you can get that going, that will also help. Posting on Google, my business page is free as well. So those are good places to start. Okay, all right. I think I have taken up a lot of time already. So if there's any more questions. Let's see, I've got one more. Oops. Any opinion on, okay, let me look at this. Any opinion on this? Turning reviews into referrals. What I could do, I have not seen this. Let's see. Yes, I have seen this. Yes, I like it. There's several different versions of this that can happen. And there's sometimes too, like when you are, let's say you're working with an agency and you order the product, local SEO, reputation management will come with it, and it will be something like this as well. So yes, to your answer, yes, I like this product a lot. And again, and from my learnings in the law space, referrals go a really long way. So reviews are basically, you know, a digital referral, if you will. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Any other questions, guys? All right. I really thank you for having me. This is my first time doing it like this, so hopefully it wasn't too crazy. I think the host has my information. I'm free to answer any questions for you guys, or give you my email address. I do have round 2 media group if you need anything. But thank you for having me, and good luck to you guys.
Thank you very much, Erica. This is Lucy. I appreciate it. And yes, we will email everybody your information, and we will have this on the YouTube as well. Thank you again, and we appreciate your presentation.
Thanks, guys.